just because of the brand ambassador. It's such a large thing right now. For
Right.
example, my 16-year-old daughter is a high elite softball player. So she
Nice.
just won't disclose the company right now, but they sent her out a new cleats, brand new cleats, haven't hit the market yet. And why? Because she's very active on social media.
Uh-huh.
So what is she? She's a brand ambassador. So many people, especially getting back into reopening, keeping their customers, developing brand ambassadors, not only brand ambassadors as your clients, but brand ambassadors of your employees. So if you've got both end of spectrums, which you provide, I mean, what more could you ask for in that aspect when it comes to Infinity? But what else can you add to that Infinity piece of it?
Well, it's actually, we had a program that was based on the concept of cash cows. Cash cows, I can't talk highly enough because every restaurant can't have too many of those. And for those, I mean, it's a very popular term, but for those who may not know what I'm talking about, a cash cow is a menu item that costs very little to serve the customer. We're talking pennies, not dollars. Yet it has a very high perceived value by the customer. So by virtue of what it is, what it looks like, what it smells like, and how it's packaged and presented to the customer, when it gets served, they look at it and they say, wow, it's got what I call wow factor. Okay, so you come up with a couple of these things and then they cost you so little, you can actually sell them in the restaurant for really high profit, which lowers your overall food costs. That's the first beautiful thing. But more importantly, you can use this with this brand ambassador idea we're talking about, where I went into the local community when I was building my business 2 decades ago again. And I did this for a couple of years until I didn't need to do it anymore, but it had an immediately powerful effect. So I took my most popular cash cow and I took a professional photograph of it and I created a 4-color business card with that menu item on the front of the card. And then I put the value proposition, which meant, this thing cost me less than $1 to serve the customer, yet I charged $10 for it because it had that much value. So now in the coupon in each corner, there's a big $10, $10, $10, right? And then I put this copy that said something like, and my cash cow is garlic nuts, which you've probably seen before. In a pizza place, pure profit. It's simply leftover dough from, I shouldn't say leftover. Let's just say you have a dough roller that rolls out your dough balls and you're serving 3 different sizes of pizza, but then obviously the dough is going to rise when you bake it in the oven, so it doesn't need to overflow the pizza pan. So you take a pizza cutter and you just kind of cut the trimming of the dough around the edge of the pan. And now you can tie this into a knot and you can brush it with olive oil and sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese and a little minced garlic on there, and you can bake it in the wood-fired brick oven I was telling you about. And I think it cost me about 25 or 30 cents for an order of 8 of these things, because we had a little ramekin of marinara sauce that we also made homemade. The dough is free because the dough is already costed out in the price of that next pizza I sold. So the dough is absolutely free. So it's just a little Parmesan cheese sprinkled and a ramekin of marinara for dipping, which added to the wow factor. So now I can charge $10 for something that cost me $0.25. And we sold thousands of these things. So it's like, that's how you print money in this business. So you can't have too many cash cows on your menu. 1, they lower your food costs, and 2, they're hugely profitable to sell. But 3, here's the kicker. Now you can give them away. So what I did with these business cards was I went within a 5 or a 10-mile radius of my restaurant, and I went to non-competing businesses like tanning salons and beauty shops and retail stores and bed and breakfast inns and a car wash and, anyone I could find. And I introduced myself to the owner or the manager, and I said, hey, I got this restaurant. In the beginning, I've just opened up, and I'd really like to introduce it to people. So I'm giving this $10 appetizer away absolutely free if you'll just give these to your customers. So I'd have a stack of 500 to start. Here you go. Just give them away. It's value added for your customer. But here's the kicker for you. If you stamp the back of this coupon so I can track where it's coming from, I'm now going to give you 10% back for every dollar you drive through the door. And I'm going to have my staff, every time a coupon's presented, they're going to staple the guest check to that. And then I'm going to track how much the customer spent. And then I'm going to give you 10%. And you can bring your wife in for dinner and just sign the check and not pay for it. You can give these out to your employees for staff incentives. You can do whatever you want with it. And I'm going to give you a gift card at the end of every week or month. And we'll just, we'll keep it behind the counter, and you just come in and you can use it and it was a beautiful thing. So what I found out was for the cost of every garlic knot coupon that came back, which was 25 cents, the average spend in the restaurant was about $65 or $70. Because at a minimum, 2 people would come in, they'd get their free appetizer, they'd have drinks and dinner. Sometimes 3 or 4 people would come in and the check average was even higher. But over a period of time, I averaged it and the average spend was $70 and it cost me a quarter and my time to build a relationship with that business owner. So interestingly, at the end of that trial period, after a couple of months, some of these businesses were driving $10,000 in the door, new business. It was amazing. So
that is a wow, Cal.
It was a powerful program for sure. And I did it for years until I didn't have to do it anymore. But now we teach people how to do things like this. That's called guerrilla marketing. That's not spending thousands of dollars on something you don't know if it's going to work. It's like minimal expense, fail fast, fail cheap. If you're an outgoing person, go build relationships in the community. Go up to hotels and concierges and taxi drivers and who else is meeting the public that needs to eat, right? It's that simple.